Hi, my name is Summer Nye, and I'm a 23-year-old college student who is looking to apply to the July 2022 Make a Pilot Scholarship. I just wanted to first thank you guys for this opportunity to apply along with other members getting started in aviation. I know that it's kind of a lucrative business to get into, but it's really exciting, and really everybody who I've met and talked to so far has been so welcoming and just such a community. And that's something that's really important to me. When I talk about the reasons that I'm getting involved in aviation, I'll talk about my grandfather a little bit here in a second, but I really wanted to first hit home the fact that this is something that kind of snuck up on me. I was around aviation all of my childhood because of my grandfather, but I never really realized that it's something that I aspired to be until the past couple of years here. And when I've stepped back during the pandemic and taken a look at what I actually want out of my life. I went into college kind of unsure about what I wanted to do with my future. I know a lot of people in my grade were having epiphanies like, this is exactly what I want to go into and what I feel is right for me. And I just know, like, you couldn't tell me anything else. This is just what I know I want to do. But I never really had that moment. I started off wanting to teach journalism in high schools, and I still have a great passion for my high school journalism program and that whole high school journalism world here in Kansas. It's a really cool, interconnected community, and I think that's what I loved the most about it. I don't know if I actually wanted to teach in high school or if I just loved that journalism community as a whole. And I think that when I look back on my life, those are the things that I'm striving for the most, are just great communities that are really tight knit and where you feel the most connected to other people. And so, as a really big people person myself, I kind of was looking for jobs that provided that for me, and it wasn't in corporate America, and it wasn't in a couple of these other places that I was looking. Teaching didn't really seem to have that same impact for me. And then I was looking back and just kind of realizing the times that I was happiest when I was younger, and that would be going to aviation events in our community with my grandpa and doing things like that. And just the genuine love everybody had for the same thing and the genuine same goal that everyone was carrying, and just looking out for each other. I really have loved witnessing that at some different just fly-ins and things like that with my grandpa. So I'll tell you a little bit about him and kind of why that bug spread to me so slowly. So my grandpa Dale was the coolest guy around. He passed away probably when I was about 10 years old, but not without making a huge impact on my life. That man was a general ambassador for aviation in our community. I grew up in kind of a smaller town, Bonner Springs, Kansas, and not a lot of people knew an aviator. Not a lot of people knew a pilot. That's just not something that seemed super attainable to me either. Having a grandpa that was in the Air Force as a mechanic, he was the only connection that I really had to aviation or anything hearing about it. And so he continued that love after being out of the Air Force, kind of in his later years. He would build ultralight airplanes just as a hobby and fly them on over, power parachutes, things like that, and fly them in the valley, kind of on the farm where I lived. He would also just grab a Cessna for a weekend and take it out and do some longer adventures and come home with a lot of tales to tell. He also would drop our presents on our birthday from airplanes. We used to have him over for dinner, and somehow as a kid, I guess I had a really short memory because I never saw it coming. He would come over for dinner and then disappear, and I would always go, "Where's Grandpa? Like, where did he go?" And my mom would be like, "I don't know. I'm sure he just went to the bathroom or something. Like, I'm sure he'll be right back." And then he'd come buzz the house, and sure enough, we'd run outside, and Grandpa would drop our present from the sky in a little parachute, and we'd have to go running out in the pasture and finding it, hoping it didn't go into a tree or something, and then we had a real pickle on our hands. I used to hear all these stories of my grandma saying when they were dating, he would go buzz her parents' house just to let them know not to forget about him and that he was thinking of her. And so all these stories when I was younger seemed larger than life, and all the events that I would go to at the local airport with him where fellow pilots were just cooking out, having a good time. Those are really when I felt the most connected to and part of something. So that's really what I love about the community, especially since I don't have him around anymore. Every single person that I've asked has had that same hospitality and same zest to get younger people involved in aviation and let them know that it is attainable if you work really hard. And that is something that I'm prepared to do. I know it is a little bit more of expensive of a craft, and that's why I'm in college to support myself. And get myself down the line, but I really think that I could combine my love of teaching and aviation into one thing by being a CFI here, and who knows, maybe even go commercial. So I think there's a lot of possibilities out there, and I think that for someone really willing to work hard and get to know the craft, I think you can take it wherever you want to go with it. And that's what really inspired me to start this journey. I did my first discovery flight about a month and a half ago. And that was the first time I had ever really been up in a smaller plane. They didn't let me go when I was younger with my grandpa. But I so loved that I got to feel connected to him the second we were going, and the second those wheels took off. I really felt his presence with me, and I knew that this was the rush of adrenaline he was getting every time he went up there. And then my instructor let me take control of the plane, and I've never looked back since. I've been dreaming about that day since it happened. So with this scholarship, it would really provide me the opportunity to start my journey and get things rolling here, and then get set off on a path. Who knows where it'll take. So thanks for listening to me and taking the time to review all these applications. And I hope I'll see you in the skies soon. Thanks.